Alright boys and girls, and welcome back to another building video. This time I've cooked up potentially the best base to feature on this channel in the entirety of 2024. This brand new competitive group design is going to allow you boys and girls to get a good night's sleep. It's going to allow even the sharpest shooters to defend an online raid with its overpowered angles. And it's just going to be an absolute blast to live inside of. The quality of life is top notch. And the nice thing is there are no free hands or crazy tech it's going to put anybody off. The nice thing is a lot of planning went into this base, which means it can be used for long, monthly, bi-weekly wipes, where you wind up having a spot for everything inside your base. Or this thing can spring out quickly on immediate, fast little snowballs, where you're just looking to be online rated and have a good time in a good base. Now, boys and girls, I do spend a lot of time on the building servers. I like to make sure the quality of the content is up high, and the bases too. So if you guys appreciate what I'm posting, feel free to drop us a little like, comment something nice or mean. Either works for the algorithm. And without further ado, folks, let me take you through it. Right, this is the tour for the blind now. We have 6 external TCs, giving us a total of 7 TCs. Sounds like a lot, but imagine your upkeep being spread between 7 TCs. It's going to allow upkeeping a monster like this a lot easier. If you like building and you're looking to improve, my Discord is a wonderful place to be. We've got multiple great builders, including me, to answer any questions that you may have, an extensive moderator team, and if it's my building style that you like and you don't want your base layout to be visible on YouTube, then you can open a ticket and look into getting your own custom base design for your own personal use. Cheers lads, let's go on with the tour. Into our gatehouse now. It's pretty cool, The Patricos down here are giving a lot of coverage behind that furnace funnel and also down through into compound. Very long wide angle there, very handy indeed. Now, above there, you're going to notice that we're actually looking through a planter box. Who knew that? I'm going to guess that absolutely no one did. Now, you can't put any bullets through here, but it is good for just looking around the compound. We have a furnace funnel on our compound, meaning that those wooden high walls that are not so strong can be beefed up by this large furnace here. Great for online raid defense, leaves the raiders stuck behind a big obstacle, costing 5 rockets to break, while you guys can play off of all of your angles here, making sure that that compound coverage stays for a long time. Ideally, we don't want to lose compound. It's good to have. And to make sure we don't, we have a lot of respawns in here. We have some angles outside of compound, some breach peaks back up onto the base in case anyone's laddering, and some of the best chainlink turrets, maximizing that HV cost, with the chainlink being placed so far away from our turret. Really good turret coverage here, a lot of great Patricos in compound too. Overall, an amazing compound, and it's going to give you guys an awesome time in an online raid. These are some of our compound peaks, and of course we're also getting one-ways into our shell from here. The shell is going to be a high activity area, and it's going to be an important spot to be able to retake. These angles are giving great shots outside of compound, but they're also looking straight back into shell too, which is so valuable. Inside the shell, we have more breach peaks, and these are going to be great early game angles. You get the embrasure on there, and it's super tight. There's boxes in there, and not to mention our shell has respawns too. This little bedroom section is actually super cool. It reminds me of the old HTune 2x2s with the floating bedrooms, giving some angles back into the shell. Again, a lot of early game stuff in mind here with this. Comes out pretty clean, gives us some good respawns, and overall the shell's easy to retake. There's great turret angles, there's some storage, and there's some early game defense peaks. Overall, it's everything that you could need inside of a shell, and I really like how it all came together. There's one entrance into the main core of the base, and it's an egg in the center here. Second floor is all about the storage. There's plenty of room for boxes, barrels, and anything else you want to fit up here. Our jump up and our drop down are found in the same location, and our core is stair bunkered. Stair bunker is built straight into the starter of the base, which means you have a bunker so early on into the wipe. Very handy indeed. Starter is nice and spacious, good for a larger team, or even a smaller one on a modded base. That's our main TC there and our main TC upkeep. Not too scary at all if you've got a few boys on your team. And the stair bunker tech works so simply, just like that. If you're on console, you won't get the stair bunker, but there are 3 more bunkers to look at in this base that you will have on console, so don't worry. Really nice retake angle here to protect from top down. It's also going to give us some good peeks into the base early on. That is a one-way as well, so if anybody's dropping down from there, they're not going to see you, they're not going to know about you, and you're free to just bite their toes while they can do nothing about it. And as I was showing there, you can get HV through that too. Third floor is a bit more storage. Jumping up now to the next floor. Beds. A lot of beds up here, some barrels to re-kit from, or you could throw a locker in there instead. Completely up to you. We also get 3 exits out onto our shooting floor. Shooting floor is a ring, but at the same time it's also split up, which is super nice. We get Patrico angles looking down around in compound. We get a nice standard wide gap here with a bed too. Good angles here from the bedrooms as well, and you can window that off for a safer respawn. And that frame's going to protect our head when we're looking through the embrasure. Now, if we drop down from shooting floor, this is a good spot to throw down a couple of bags maybe, as long as it's not in the way of this roof. We have access to our bunkers, and you can armor those up. There's no gaps on these. A lot of rockets to get to those boxes there, and it's tucked away in a nice convenient spot too. Underneath is also some boxes as well, giving us some options to store things here. If we're to wrap around over the top, it's going to give us angles up onto roof. It's going to connect to our roof exit. And it's going to give us some breach bigs down around far away and into compound. And of course there's 3 of these little modules here, so it all comes together nice and clean. Good heli takes from there, good downward angles towards the externals, and good retakes up onto roof. Everything's nice, easy and convenient to play off here, and overall it's a nice module to spread around the base. These are the roof retakes back up here, and we've tightened those up with the cat ears on top. You can see that the turrets do watch into this location, so they cannot be used against you. If we were to jump up into the center, I left this final egg core at the top pretty open. Ideally, if you're good at flying minis, you'll be able to store them in here overnight. It's a little bit tight, but with pushing minis, you'll be able to get it in here just fine and get it out again. Great turret coverage on the roof as well, by the way, and not the easiest ones to take down from above. You can see the wide gap repeats up on roof, and so does the bedroom, which is super handy. We only need 3 turrets up here, allowing you to spend some more turrets down below, keeping that compound nice and safe, which I would argue is a little more important. Of course, we got the minicopter garage, we got the retakes, and we've got a couple of crouching angles up on roof, but ideally we're going to be using the shooting floor and compound to defend from. Roof is more of like an open space to let you guys kind of chill on, get the minis going, get the scrappies going in here. Left it decently open and available to use. Overall, what a banging base, and definitely one of my favorites on the channel to date. If you guys want to know what this house is going to cost you, here it is up on screen. First of all is the total build cost. Second up is that build cost in box amounts. Makes that a little bit easier to visualize. And lastly is the total upkeep spread between 7 TCs, and the main TC is holding the majority of that upkeep. Hopefully you're all very impressed with this house and you want to know how to build it. I'm going to go ahead and break that down for you all now. Alright, let's get into the tutorial of the blind. We're starting off with a square to claim our build spot. Make sure to double half wall if you're going to be utilizing the stair bunker. If you're on console, no need for that. Let's just get that shelf in there though, I guess, early on. But extra stone. So we're going to put the triangle in there and leave it twig, of course, because we have a bunker going on. Early game, you can still throw boxes on there, or if you feel like you're going to need to use the bunker, then I would leave that open. Ready to utilize. Keep in mind that deployables can sometimes get in the way of that bunker, so you got to be safe. Throw down the entirety of the footprint, so it's an egg, the triangle in the middle, so surrounded by squares, and then in between are 2 triangles. No jump up allowed here. Again, if we're using the stair bunker, you do need to jump with the deployables, or else a triangle floor is going to hold up that stair bunker when we try and break it, and then you're going to be boxed in your own core. It's not going to be fun. On the left side of our TC, we have a loot room, and then kind of facing that loot room, we have another loot room. It keeps all the loot space close together, and then in between that, you can throw down a workbench. So you've got your mats, your guns, your med mats, all that stuff there. Nice and easy to access. Pretty spacious in here too, and not the most expensive starter to throw down whatsoever. Second floor entrance is great too. Early game defense, nice little drop down to hold. And of course, utilize that bunker as early on as you want. We're going to start off with the second floor now, and to the left of our jump up, we place a double door. Then in between here, we do have some retakes, remember, so we're going to add this in. The nice part about these retakes is they can't really be used against you, even without the embrasure. So there's no issue throwing those down early on. Above our drop down is our jump up to the next floor, and then the loot space from down below just mimics exactly what it was in the core. So it's just the same stuff going on here, giving you guys some more boxes, giving you guys some more room to play off of, and of course start setting up some electrical furnaces in here, and whatever else you like to do on the wipe day. Okay, onto the third floor of the base now, and it's going to be some more loot space. Remember, we have those retakes that are going on there as well. You can wrap it all around in walls. And the reason we're building in this order is I like to get some height on my spot first, allowing for a spot of roof camping if we want to do that. Make sure that that's metal there so we can see underneath the ramp. You don't want any of the stones, the armored or anything like that. It's got to be metal so we can see underneath and watch that drop down. Gonna come in handy super early game too, which is very nice. Even without the embrasure, that's a nice little one-way there. Wrap around your doors there and we'll have a loot room in front of the jump up, this time changing up ever so slightly. If you guys feel the need to get externals down early, you can change up my build order, of course practice on a build server, and get this base locked inside your head. Might seem like a big boy to memorize, but this base is symmetrical by 3, so you actually only need to memorize 1/3 of the base. Hopefully that makes it sound a little less scary. I'm actually going to go ahead and build up one more floor. We're just going to get the max height on this for roof camping potential, of course. So that's that bedroom floor there where we have loot rooms inside the single doors. You just wrap it around just like this. But of course, if you're feeling like you got to get those externals down, just change up the build order. It's not a big deal. Overall, for a group of this size, building this base, not a lot of stone we're investing here. And it's nice for the builder as well, before they have to go and do any build outs and stuff like that. By the time you've gotten this portion built up, you'll know if you want to reside in this area, or if it's looking like it would be a good idea to move. But we're going to go ahead and start doing some build outs now. Let's finish off the footprint of the base here. Just like that. The squares are coming off of triangles, and the triangles are coming off of squares like that. And we need to leave those gaps that I've left to make sure you're copying the footprint as I do. We have 3-sided symmetry on now, so keep that in mind. And we're going to do a short build out here, followed by 7 squares. And then we're going to cap that off with a triangle. And that's our multi-TC build out. That's going to allow for bunkers, and it's going to allow us to multi-TC the base. Once you broke all the squares, we're going to return back with triangle half moons, and we can complete the footprint as 2 triangles. It's going to create a small gap, and that's exactly what we are looking for. Keep in mind this section is going to be decaying, so if you're ready to start doing build outs, you've got to be ready to finish doing build outs. There's no stopping halfway through. So that's the footprint we're looking for there. We're going to have to link these foundations together, then link those foundations to a gatehouse, and then from there an external TC. So that's why there's no point really starting this portion unless you're ready to finish this portion. Remember, we have a lot of petricos going on here with our front door. We also have the one-ways that look into our shell from these little bedrooms that we just made. And I'm just going to build that entire section now so you guys know what's going on. That's the entrance there. You can add a ceiling on all of that. And then once you've done that, we can start working on the one-ways for the shell. So we get a little window in here, couple of half floors, and then we throw that triangle through. Cover it up with a roof ramp so nobody can use the anchor biter from the outside. Just like that. Creating a nasty, nasty one-way into our shell. Very good stuff. Doing the same on both sides, and then we can come around to the front where the airlock is. And we also get petricos on there as well. But the foundations do not stay. Keep that in mind, those foundations gotta go. Just floating the half wall in there for those windows. Then we go from there. Alright, into gatehouse now, and it's kind of a big gatehouse, to be honest. We build out with that square, we need to break that one and then make the connection above so that everything foundations can fit. There we go, just like that. But I'll do the rest of the gatehouse after. I'm going to rush to external now, because keep in mind this is all decaying, and we need to get that external built. External's 4 squares away, and then it is a simple free-handed external TC. If you don't like freehands, it's not a bit of tech that you've got locked down. Just do a normal TC. 3 garage doors make the same cost pretty much as a metalled one of these, but the benefit of these are you need no metal frags to seal them whatsoever early on. So you can keep your doors for the inside of the base instead of wasting them for the outside. Really handy bit of tech there, and then we just swap that square to a triangle so that we have room to disconnect. Once you've done that, I like to flip the doors to make my life easier, and I'll throw my TC in there. With the frame here, make sure that's connecting to the side that's not free-handed, so ensure your bunker still opens after placing that frame, and everything should join up like that, and if it doesn't, something's gone wrong. Then you can add a ceiling on your gatehouse, and it's a half height taller for turrets as well. We have half walls here that funnel us round, and then low walls on the opposite sides of those, so that we can look underneath this. If you want the little brutalist tech, you can go for that. This is going to cover up your head, and you can go the extra mile and throw the planter on there too. You do want that hidden one-way mirror. Pretty cool bit of tech there. Wrap this in some frames for chain link, and then we can half wall around the back of our gatehouse for the turrets and the triangles. And then you get some boxes up in the top middle. If you want to place those, you can. Not a massive deal. We don't need them. Those are the low walls I was talking about. Get those down, and I would flip these so there's no conditional. Makes running through here not as annoying. You don't want to like bump here. So just get rid of the conditional on that side, just to make life easier for the people living in the house. Once you've done that, we're going to come around to the wide gap side. That's the external TC side done and dusted now. And we're going to do a triangle, 3 squares, and then return back here with some triangles, capping it with a square. Then we have a breach peak coming off of our wide gapped square. And it's important to remember what sides of the base are wide gapped and which ones are multi-TC'd. So it helps easier for you guys to understand what I'm talking about. So this is the wide gap side, and it'll be referred to as that throughout the tutorial to make life a little bit easier. So off of our wide gap square, we do a little breach peak. In here, you should already have these half walls. I had them removed though, but you already had those half walls in there. And then you just cap it off like that and match the height in front. Low walling off underneath the wide gap to make life easier. You do a half wall and then a low wall in front of your breach peak, so you can still add an external here. And then you have breach peaks looping back up towards the base. Pretty complicated little area there, but you guys manage fine. We got some extra build out here for the furnace wall, and you just build off like this, creating a little half wall, low wall section, and then you just float that. Take the foundation out so there's more room for the furnace to place. Now all of that's going to be decaying, so we do need to connect that to an external TC, and once again we're building out with 4 squares and then doing a free-handed disconnect. Again, if you want to swap it out with a different kind of external, you can do that for sure, not a problem at all. Alright, once you've done that, you can add some frames to link everything up. And now everything's connected, no more decay. Get those high walls down now. And that's a 2 high wall seal per gap, making a little angle there. You should have room for a large furnace too, and the best spot to place it from is up here. But if the chain link's in, then that'll be a little bit tougher, but you can always get these down. It's just trial and error on the large furnaces, unfortunately. Bit of practice on the build server will certainly help there. And another 2 high wall seal over on the opposite side, keeping in mind that we still have the sim on here. So you're going to have to repeat that stuff on a vanilla server. Good fun though, I'm sure. I like to low wall the backs of my gatehouses and anything else that has barricades on it. It means that if your barricade placement is a bit dodgy, grubs can't just crawl past it. So this is the best way to do that. And it's not too many barricades to seal this one up, but you're going to need to hold on to blades from the starter wipe. Try not to recycle those, and cut down on metal frags by doing free-handed bunker externals. Right, let's get into the shell now. We're going to add in the half walls. Those should already be there. I forgot I deleted them. Don't get bamboozled. It's okay. Add the floors in so our shell is a half height above. On the 3 triangle sections of the multi-TC part, we have a breach peak, and we raise frames up so that we can petrico our breach peaks and add boxes above those. In front, we have no angle facing in towards the base because I felt that that was too easy for people to use against you. So it's just angles on the left and right of the breach peak and a wall down the middle. We're adding frames in the center here to give ourselves some stability for the bunker that will be above. And then we're adding in some roofs here. If you do happen to do a stone roof, you're not going to be able to crawl underneath. Don't panic and think the base is broken. Only stone will cause this issue. Upgrade it to metal, upgrade it to DLC, whatever you like. Just make it the same grade as the other roof. Then we petrico these and we wrap in half walls. And we do a little ramp in there just to make those boxes ever so slightly easier to access. And you do that on both sides. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's our little breach peak section. Over here, it's even simpler. Just a spam of walls. You'll remember that we do have some bedrooms in the shell, so we can tackle those now. You're good to add frames pretty much throughout this area too. We do the frames on the bottom level, and then we honeycomb the second floor, just for some extra defense on that. You do that on all three sides, including the one where you enter the base from. Nothing changes there. And we can wrap the bottom floor in frames too. And this is, remember, where we have our bedrooms. So window on one side, door on the other, with some 2 doors in between. And that'll give you a good spot to defend from, respawning inside the shell. Very cool. Very nice. Over above here, this is where the bunker goes. So we're going to add in the triangles there. We want the gaps as I do. And we float a frame here just to make that gap a little bit tighter. Don't want anyone to use that from underneath. Over on this side, you can add in the full walls, even though it's a half-height offset. But in between here, you need to half wall the wall. So that we can get a wide gap frame. And then just add floors throughout the rest of the bedroom. Very simple. Very nice. Add half walls in here to match the difference. And you leave those ones open underneath for some boxes and a drop-down level from shooting floor into our bunker. Building the bunker now, you're going to want to place your wall on the frame side first. I placed that to make sure nobody can get it wrong. And then we want to place our wall here so that we have a gap. Then we can open up the bunker with a triangle roof. And we can add 2 shelves with a window in front. Place your boxes away from the roof that clips inside to make sure we have no despawning issues. And then make sure you add in your roofs correctly, meaning the bunker remains open. From underneath, you can place another roof too. And again, you want to make sure that that roof does not affect the bunker. Rotating that will create no gaps. Of course, you'll want to armor it if you're going to rotate it. And the nice thing is, this is absolutely nowhere near where any workbenches are going to be, so nobody's soft-siding that. And if they are going to soft-side it with workbenches and nowhere near, then they deserve to get the loot. Definitely. But I'd rather have no gaps in the bunker than sacrifice and have a little bit of a soft side on there. Not a big deal. Shooting floor, we get some standard windows here that are going to be petricoed, and then we can raise up the wide gap section here for our downward angles. Over here, we make a little airlock to keep that bedroom safer from above. And then we can raise up that bedroom tower here, just wrapping it in windows around the back with a door in front. You can see that that low wall there allows us to place the door frame off of the wide gap section. So that's why we do that. Get some doors in between and single doors to our jump ups, giving our shooting floor wrap around a nice cool effect. Then you can floor all of this off, and in between we have a breach peak. Breach peaks, we know what those are. We had one down below, so we add a layer of half walls here, and windows on top. And the cool thing is these roofs are going to cover up any gaps as well, making the base seamless and very cool indeed. You can see there when that roof goes in, everything just cleans up. Very nice. In between, we have a single door here. Close to that is a double door, and that's our little minicopter garage here. If you're not going to store minis in here, then you're better off adding some more doors in this area, not leaving it as open. But if you want a couple of minis in there, just leave it open. Get some more double doors in the center there, then we can create our breach peak spot as well, allowing us to peek back up onto roof. Lastly, we're going to raise up some more frames, again, petricoing our breach peak. Very nice. And we can also keep petricos on those windows there too. There we go. Looking clean, looking nice. Over here we do half walls, and our wide gap tower is exactly the same as what's below. Then from there we have a spot for a turret, and then from there we have a spot for a windmill. The low walls provide nothing but style points, so if you're down bad on materials, you can leave them out. Add a little roof on there to make your head a bit safer when you're on that window. And then a couple of extra frames in there, again for style points. We're going to float a frame here with a window just to give us a slightly better head glitch off of some of the roof ramps here. And it also bulks up the base, making it look a little bit nicer. Off of our half walls, we can add in some roof ramps. And those are going to create nice head glitches with the windows we floated. And then we could raise some frames around here with some backwards roofs to give us some protection from any taller raid bases. And there we go, that gives us a bit of coverage from there. Can be weird to place sometimes, but they definitely go down. From underneath, down in the breach peak, you're better off placing these 3 triangle roofs. And then we add the little cat ear effect here to tighten up the roof peak angle and make our head hopefully a little bit safer too. Once you've done that, you throw your windmill down, turret goes underneath, and raise up some frames with a waterfall here to get down from roof without taking any fall damage. And once you've done that, that completes the base design. Hopefully you boys and girls have enjoyed this video. If you did, then please feel free to leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. Make sure to join the Discord if you need any help or if you just want to come chat, and I'll see you all in the next video. See you in a bit.